Yeah, Star Trek. It's a pretty good show. At least two episodes today are really good. I'm not sure about Lineage. I'm not saying Lineage is bad. I'm saying I don't remember. Lineage is the one. Well, let's go through them in order. Today's episodes are Season 7, Episode 11 to start, Shattered. Shattered is really good. It's the one where the ship gets split into different time periods and Chakotay has to go and fix it, and there's Seska, and there's a gun, and there's, I don't know, implications about the relationship with the captain. And then Lineage. Lineage is the one that feels like it might be bad, but I'm not going to actually say it is. Lineage is the one, yeah, eugenics and daddy issues. Eugenics is the one with B'Elanna's childhood trauma again. She's always going on about childhood trauma, but this time she's going to mutilate a child.
Oh,
so
boy.
That's fun. Just one, though. And it's her child. She can mutilate it all she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Miss Turtlehead thing really got to her. And then Repentance, I know for a fact, is really good. It's the one where there's a murderer, and there's Munez from Deep Space Nine. But more importantly, the murderer got all he got all brain altered, so he's not a murderer anymore. He's a cool guy, and they kill him
That
anyway.
always goes well.
Yeah, he turns into a good guy, and then they kill him. Because he murdered people before.
Oops.
Which, you know, that's just how it works, I guess. They're not in the Federation, so he doesn't get to just go to New Zealand.
Mm.
So how's the weather?
It was nice today. Yeah.
Nice
A little
and
warmer
cold?
than I might have preferred, actually. Oh,
Oh. Pity.
not as rainy as you would like it.
What's even the point of living in England?
It's not going to rain a lot of the time. Yeah. Often does.
Yeah. Unrelated to England, I was playing Stellaris a couple days ago, and I discovered a good way to nearly crash my computer, which is I vassalized the entire galaxy and set the terms so they would join my wars. And then when the Endgame Crisis showed up, literally every single military ship in the galaxy converged in one system to join up with my fleet. And my computer did not like that. It was a lot of ships.
Wow.
Oh boy. It was... The game was running a little slow. But, you know, we defeated the Crisis.
Oh, good.
The entire galaxy all together in one system.
So it's an effective strategy if you can get
Yeah.
through the computer choking on it.
Yeah, the changes they made, is it even recent? I feel like it's been a little while now. Since they overhauled the vassalization system, it now feels massively overpowered. Because you just steamroll real hard. As soon as you get your first vassal, you just basically roll over the galaxy.
Wow.
Because vassals will give you a percentage of their income, and that percentage includes their AI cheater boosts. So you just get insane amounts of resources.
Yeah, that's an oversight.
Yeah. Still a good game, though.
Yeah,
Maybe don't
I mean,
vassalize people if you want it to be difficult.
at least not
Fun
AI.
challenge. So yes, about 30 seconds. Start everyone be queued up to Season 7, Episode 11, Shattered. Good episode. Very good episode.
Oh, yeah. It's a cool one.
I remember Janeway's like, oh, how close did we get Chakotay in this timeline of yours? I don't think he even mentions the monkey.
Uh,
The monkey planet was like their whole relationship.
uh,
Also, everyone should press play in 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Wait, what is she doing? Oh, that's okay. DNA, very Star Trekky. I thought it was an
Yes.
abacus.
Uh-huh.
God, freaking Brunali. That's all they ever talk about is genetics. It's this whole species. Though I do appreciate that each ebb has adopted Starfleet's, or rather the Federation's, civilian clothing policy, which all civilian clothing has to be weirdly asymmetrical.
It's true.
Antarian cider.
Ah,
Not to be confused with Aldebaran whiskey or Andorian ale.
right. There can only be one beverage of each kind per planet.
The only Earth alcohol anyone ever drinks is Picard's wine, and apparently it's trash.
And no one calls it Terran wine.
Terran. Janeway, how... This is something I don't understand about Voyager. How does she... Right? How does she consistently burn food? How does that happen? It's supposed to be literally impossible, isn't it? Unless you specifically tell the replicator to burn it. Because you just
seems
tell it.
impressive.
You just say
Yeah.
pot roast to the replicator, and it gives you a pot roast.
Like, I'd be impressed if it managed to have a bug that made it just burned, as opposed to like just something, just slop, something chemically wrong.
I prefer the malfunctions where it's giving you like hot bananas. That's a good malfunction.
Yeah.
Yes, technobabble
Bananas.
inciting incident. Get on with the time shift. They have to split up because they need to be in different time periods. Wait, where's Chakotay going? He's not going to the bridge. It's some kind of spatial rift. Some kind of distortion field. Some kind of hole in space.
Some kind of tear in reality.
It's some kind of bottled lightning effect that we use for everything.
Some kind of phenomenon of some sort.
Tom has got some kind of aura. Oh, sorry, Chakotay. Oh, is this okay? In Lower Decks, you remember that episode with the farm where all the freaks that have been mutated by Starfleet experiments like go to be cured? There was the one guy there was like really young on one side and really old on the other. That looks like what just happened to Chakotay.
Oh yeah, that be.
Is that where that came from? Because I know they had the Warp 10 salamander there.
Yeah.
A lot of the freaks there were, and I use the word freak because that's what they use in the show. Don't come at me. A lot of the freaks there were specific references to old Star Trek shows,
Of course.
like the salamander.
Because that's how they roll.
Yeah. That's really most of Lower Decks.
Yeah.
It's good in its own right, but it also makes a ton of references.
It does. It really
Also,
does.
like Picard Season 3, which was all references the whole time.
Yeah. That was also good, though. Like, they did have the one new character, and then they just decided that he should have no arc, and yeah, the most predictable ending of any arc ever. That's very frustrating.
Who?
Aw.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
The minute he
Yeah,
shows
he was
up
cool.
as Dead Naming 7, it's just like, oh yeah, his last words are going to be 7 of 9, aren't
Yeah, but look,
they?
he was talking to 7 of 9 as his last words. He has like 3 to 4 days to be revived. He's fine.
I know, no, it's definitely, yeah.
She's got the nanoprobes.
Exactly. No, they've already said they know how they'll bring him back. But still, it was so dumb.
I always maintain that if a character dies in a show, they should stay dead.
Yeah.
That's not
I
how
mean,
it works in Star Trek or Star Wars, especially.
in many cases, I would agree with that. In this case, the death scene was so dumb that I don't think that anything's lost.
How did he die again? Did he get shot?
He just got shot randomly and then just sort of said 7 of 9 and died.
I mean, that's usually how
It's just
death works. People just get shot and then they're dead.
Yeah. But it was supposed to be such an important moment, and it was so painfully predictable that for me it was just like, yep, they did the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really like how in The Mandalorian, whenever someone dies, it's just they just got shot by like a stormtrooper or something and they're gone. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, did I say The Mandalorian? I meant what's it called? The Resistance Man?
Andor?
Andor.
Also true of the Mandalorian, as I recall. But yeah.
But especially in Andor, that heist they went on where everybody just got shot.
Yeah. That was rough. That's a very good show.
It is. But didn't they like aren't they only doing 2 seasons?
Of Andor? I don't know, maybe. I hadn't heard that, but I'm not up on Star Wars as much. That would be sad, though.
I just
Really
looked it
good
up.
show.
Andor will end after 2 seasons, but was originally planned for 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't
Why would
everyone
they end
like
it
it?
so soon? It's so good.
Everyone liked it, too, right?
I mean, I liked it and you liked it. That sounds like everyone to me.
I mean, that was the one thing I knew before I would watching it. Is just I had heard that, like, yeah, there are really only 2 shows that everyone really likes in the Star Wars, yeah,
Also,
television universe.
back to Star Trek for just a second, because this is now season 1 again. Janeway's got her command bun.
That's right.
And who are all these randos? I wonder if these are the same randos that were actually in the first episode. If they just brought them back. Or if these are new randos. Wait. So, every time he passes through, everything he wasn't originally wearing during the time shift disappears. How is that like mud still on his jacket?
Oh,
Is the mud time shifted? Because his briefcase went away.
that is weird. That's a weird choice. I agree.
God, I can't believe we're still dealing with a Kazon in season 7.
Yeah.
It feels to me like Chakotay's not even taking her seriously. He doesn't even care.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now I have to deal with this again. Honestly, I have no idea if he's telling the truth. This might have been what happened in the original episode.
Yeah.
How did they even retake Voyager? What? I don't remember what happened.
I don't remember. Yeah. This was the season, like second season finale, third season premiere or something. Like
yeah, this is where we watched part 1 and then took a 3-month break from Voyager and then watched part 2.
Just like people did at the time. Yeah.
Yes. Oh god, I just looked it up. Okay.
Aired and be like, they're between seasons.
So I just looked it up. How they saved it is Suitor, the murderer man. He sabotaged the ship, And the
Flashback.
Talaxians came and rescued them. The
That's right.
Talaxians.
That's kind of oof.
That's just embarrassing for Voyager.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, hey, it's the
Hey?
meme.
Yeah. It's the...
That's a great meme.
What's the... There was a meme there?
Oh yeah, so well, it's a whole format where the doctor sets up a pun, and then Chakotay with his coming out of the Jeffries
Ah.
tube delivers the
And,
punchline
and then he
as if he's
closes
just
the
putting
door
in.
again?
Yeah, you could have imagined that, or it's just a 2-panel meme, so it's
Okay.
But no, it's a solid format.
Let me Google Voyager Doctor joke meme. I am not familiar with this meme.
It's Chakotay, yeah, the Jeffries tomb.
I'm having trouble locating the meme. They're dead, Catherine. They have ceased to be. Are they like permanently dead? Did they phase out of existence? Or did they just stay in the same... Well, no. Did they just stay in the same time frame where Chakotay changed to another? But then if they stayed in the same time frame, why did they not return to the bridge?
Oh yeah. So wait,
What am I waiting for?
no, sorry. Is was this? Are they in the Alpha Quadrant in this?
Yeah, this is... They're still looking for them in the
Okay,
Badlands.
right.
That's not a medical tricorder. What's even the difference? Why do you need a tricorder and a medical tricorder?
That's a good question. I mean, we had a hard time conceiving of everything being possible with one device back at the time, so it is a bit like having a medical phone.
I was gonna say inject Neelix because he's expendable, but he's not here. We can inject Harry and have him try to go through. I wasn't aware the captain's ready room opened onto a corridor like that. I thought it only connected to the bridge. Also, God, he got really lucky there. Because if... I would have guessed that that thing would take time to like circulate through her system and affect all her cells. So he could have just like pulled a small part of Catherine through.
Yeah, it's true.
Like just pulled her neck through the doorway.
I was kind of surprised that doesn't happen more often with things like portals that can open up between things. There are a lot of gruesome possibilities.
How come we never transport like half a person?
Yeah,
Just
for
to,
instance.
if they're an intruder, of course.
Right. Half of an undesirable person. Yeah.
Yeah, seems legit. Can't believe Harry Kim is the one who designed astrometrics. Harry Kim. His greatest accomplishment so far in Starfleet is co-designing a slight variant of a shuttle.
Yeah, and breaking the record for time spent as an ensign.
Poor Harry. I mean, he did prove last episode that he doesn't, well, last week at least, that he's not really good as a captain. He's not really command material.
Mhm.
Hey guys.
There's,
Uh,
who are these randos?
And look, Icheb makes it to the future.
I mean, Icheb becomes a Starfleet officer. He just still has both of his eyes. Good for him.
Yes. Well, we know this is not the real future. I like this episode because we get Seska.
Naomi's better at the job than Catherine is.
Oh, look, there's a rainbow Voyager for Pride Month.
I'm not sure that's exactly what they were going for, but yeah, sure, it works.
Was Pride Month even a thing? How long has it been a thing?
This was 2001.
They've had a gay pride parade for like 50
Parades, yes, but definitely. But
Legal
June
rights were
being
another
Pride
thing.
Month, yeah, and June is Pride Month. I think is more recent. I wouldn't bet too much on that, but
I can confirm they still had June in 2001.
they did have June.
This wasn't 2001 though. This is like 99 or 2000. 2001 was Enterprise.
Wasn't Enterprise 2004?
No.
Hang on, I'm
Uh,
Googling. First aired January 2001. January
this episode,
17th. Yeah.
yeah,
Enterprise, right?
no, this episode.
What was the first episode of Enterprise? Broken Bow. Or is it Broken Bat? No, it's Bow.
Yeah.
I must have been before 2004 because I wouldn't have been in college anymore when it finished.
Oh, wow. I did not realize they were this close together. So this episode, Shattered, was January 2001. Broken Bow was September 2001.
Yeah, that's right. No, it was,
I thought Enterprise was
the
a few years
season.
after.
Yeah,
Nope.
I thought there was a gap.
No, there wasn't.
All right, thanks. My memory is flawed.
I mean, there wasn't a gap between Next Generation and Voyager either.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize Voyager was winding down that fast, and Enterprise just kicked in. But also after
There's such a
Enterprise,
difference in like CGI styles, and it's only been like 8 months between the two shows.
Oh, I mean, yeah, those years were huge for CGI, like late 90s.
yeah, because
aughts.
the Phantom Menace was the first movie that was filmed with digital cameras. Before that, we used all film cameras with like plastic reel, like cellophane film, 24 frames a second. So yeah, you're right. That's a very pivotal time because like once George Lucas made it so he realized it was so easy to edit, like he said, I'm never going back because who's gonna spend like the editing floor was literally a cutting floor where you had like the unused footage like on the floor and you taped it together with the other film footage.
No.
And it was called footage because it was like feet and yards long. So roll up the footage. Sorry, I spoke over you, Jarvis.
I don't remember what I was saying anymore.
So, For those who may be still salty about Icheb's fate, just like we said last week, just rewatch last week's episode where he's hitting on Balana,
Oh God.
and you'll feel totally fine about it.
Yeah.
Just watch an episode where he makes you cringe and then hope to have his eye ripped out.
You know, I was watching the episode where Balana's dad is a piece of turd, and I was thinking this is the worst. I mean, again, we have the thing with like the fathers in Star Trek are literally the worst, and I was like, Balana's dad is the worst because he's not even sensitive to somebody racially bullying her, and he's like, yeah, just get some thick skin. But each of his parents are the worst though, still by far. So
Well, his dad was Badger, and Badger's known to be a criminal mastermind. Well, not so much a mastermind. Criminal.
Yeah.
So who's Badger?
Icheb's dad.
Mark Shepard.
Okay.
He plays Badger in Firefly.
Oh, okay. It's been a while since I watched that show. We actually had to watch that show for religion class in my college.
Wait, what is she carrying? Are those serum canisters or are they like giant shotgun slugs?
Rambo. They're going Rambo.
Haven't they been casually discussing the future this whole time?
Don't worry about that.
They're gonna keep doing it too.
Temporal Prime Directive.
He's gonna tell her. He's gonna tell her everything in the turbo lift.
Right.
So the temporal prime directive is just like the regular prime directive. You can disregard it whenever your conscience tells you to disregard.
But this isn't conscious.
The temporal
this
prime
is just...
directive is like the regular prime directive in that it only applies when it's convenient.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why like we're like enforcing it the whole episode because we know we're about to break it.
And when they're not enforcing it the whole episode, they're casually discussing the future the whole time.
Yeah. I think did we already watch the episode where Chakotay was on the bridge? No. Okay, no.
We've watched many episodes where he's on the bridge. Yes.
Okay, never mind. There's a really funny thing where I guess we just watch it. She arrests him, right? She's like,
Yeah.
Who are you? Yeah, that was like
because they're still in the Badlands. Yeah.
Yeah. They're looking for him. Sorry.
Also, what happened to the temporal prime directive, Chakotay? It's been like 2 minutes.
And he's like, you know what? I'm actually your first officer. I was like, I know about your dog. I know about your macrovirus.
My God, it's 2001 CGI. Oh, going back to the connection between Enterprise and Voyager, one thing you can tell about the CGI is they use the same like fake person CGI when they like have to vent someone into space and they turn into this weird doll creature.
Yeah.
CGI people, it's not great.
You know,
see also Lord of the Rings, especially the 4K version where they didn't redo the CGI, so it's super obvious.
Oh, oof.
It's like when they're running through the hallways in Moria. Oh, it's bad.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned this is that episode. So I'm glad you mentioned the CGI looking dated, and Amazon has a documentary about Star Trek, the original Star Trek for original series, and it's called The Center Seat. And so we laugh at the CGI because like I grew up with The Next Generation, which is superb actually. Well, actually, they used the real model for the Enterprise D, so it wasn't a CGI. So but the original series was cutting edge CGI when it aired in '67.
Look,
it wasn't
come on,
CGI,
man.
It was effects.
No. Yeah,
the CGI in Star Trek, the phasers were just like a solid color rectangle.
Yeah, I think they had to draw on the film or something.
Yeah.
You have to like color the actual footage. So, you know,
Oh
you have to
God.
list these things
Uh,
in the context.
Arachnia.
This is great.
oh, that episodes are the best.
It's like we're having a flashback to all the great moments. It's like the writers knew the show was going to end, and they just wanted to do a little. This is
That makes
great.
this kind of like a clip show, which is uncomfortable, but it's actually good. So never mind.
Are we going to actually cut to commercial here? Yes. Okay, we're doing actual cut to commercial.
Yeah, this acting by Kate Mulgrew is the best.
I'm
She's
just
so
wondering, like
over this.
within the canon of the holodeck, does the computer like turn all the lights off after his evil laugh and then bring them back up?
Yeah.
Or does he actually just stop laughing?
By the way, he's so stupid he falls for her all over again. Like
Lever.
Chakotay, this is a life or death situation.
My liege.
Maybe.
God.
The eighth dimension? Don't be ridiculous, Chakotay. 5 dimensions. So, length, width, height, time, and
well, there are
what?
actually 10 dimensions according to physics. So don't worry about what the other ones are called. It's beyond your
No,
pure.
the dimensions are length, width, height, time,
Mhm.
and villainy. That's why they say the depths of his villainy. God, Kate Mulgrew's just loving this, isn't she?
Oh, absolutely.
She's a stage actress too, so that the chance to do this. Release me. And remember when she got dressed up in the Spider Queen outfit?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think everyone remembers that.
That
It's very memorable.
was good shit.
Yeah, that's why we watch this show.
Holodeck episodes are great.
I mean, because he was just saying 5 minutes ago, I'm not going to be duped by you again.
Yeah. I mean,
mean-
people always say that just before they're getting duped again.
Once we get into TOS in July, this is just going to be what villains are actually unironically like.
Yeah.
They're all supervillains.
Oh, this is great. Bolana's such a great actress. Roxanne Dawson. Like the
And I point him out every time I see him. No one else seems to care, but I'm going to keep pointing him out. Next to Balana is Lieutenant Ayala, there in the background. Well, I guess he's not a lieutenant at this point. God, the Maquis got promoted above Harry.
Yeah.
This is so amazing though, because like, you're the traitor. You're the ultimate traitor if you're Maquis wearing the Stars Fleet uniform. The situation is so tense, she's like about to lynch them. But the rapport is so
Did they
good.
end up? I don't remember. Does this episode end up sort of undoing all of the temporal shenanigans? Because people having foreknowledge of all this stuff seems like it would have changed how they thought about things.
Yes, it does get undone.
Okay,
Except Chakotay. Chakotay remembers.
that's fine. Wait, Chakotay, but
Future Chakotay, not past.
yeah, yeah.
Or present Chakotay. How do our
Our Chakotay.
conjugations work?
Our quantum signature.
Seventh season Voyager Chakotay. Yeah.
So this is almost like when Worf is going through the time travel parallax thing, but except here it's different sections of the ship that shift for him.
Oh, is this
So
where we kill Tuvok?
yeah, Tuvok dies of his Vulcan Alzheimer's. I
No,
mean,
radiation poison. Wait, what?
so right. I'm sorry.
When does this happen? Because
This is the
Tuvok,
future. This is the
Tuvok
future.
doesn't. Okay.
This is the future. So here's the funny thing, right? The Chakotay here, and Catherine Janeway here is like, yeah, this is gonna inspire me to not even get lost in the Delta Quadrant because I don't want to lose Tuvok, because Tuvok and Janeway are very close friends, and
Oh my God, Janeway, keep up. You know these people. You, how do you know my name? Come on.
so um and Chakotay here has to talk her out of not going back in time and changing the timeline. But the last episode, Endgame, is the exact same plot where Catherine Janeway has to go back in time
Oh
and
yeah,
stop people from dying and
that's a huge.
messing
Yeah.
with the timeline.
Oh
But
yeah, it's a huge violation.
anyway, two good episodes. Though. I'm not going to say this is a bad episode. It's just
This is a great episode.
we don't learn any lessons.
Just yeah, I kind of wish they just wouldn't bring up the thing like the temporal prime directive, and if they're going to ignore
Yeah.
it in the rest of the episode, just like forget about it. And then, yeah.
Well, D6 was hilarious because remember they had the temporal investigators come.
Oh yeah, that was
like,
amazing.
The detectives,
Detail.
and they're
Yeah,
like, and
those
like
are
they're
awesome.
they're utterly humorless. Like,
Of course, as befits federal agents.
yeah, as if it's FBI agents visiting you for an official debriefing. But
She
DS9,
hasn't actually seen Tuvok in a while, right? At this point, because he's been
yeah, that's true. That's
undercover
true.
with the Maquis.
Yeah, he's been a secret agent, and that means basically you just see the time he dies. But in Endgame, it's Seven's death, which causes Janeway to be like, "Yeah, this timeline isn't right."
And
And
Chakotay.
oh, true. But funny enough, the Marvel movie Endgame is the same plot. We have to undo everybody dying.
Well, except they can't. They, as they explained at length, they can't undo things by time travel in their time system. It's just they're just going back to get the shiny artifacts.
True.
Yeah.
To beat him and undo the whole thing.
So
Well, they can't undo it, but well, actually, no, they do undo it. They did bring the people back, but not by
So
time shenanigans. Except
if we
indirectly.
follow Janeway's plan here, Chakotay still gets trapped in the Delta Quadrant. She can't save him. So
This is
she's
terrible.
trying to save
though.
herself.
I mean, all the other 6 seasons of the series, Janeway's always second guessing. Like, should I have brought my people? Should I have saved the Ocampa? Like, screw the Ocampa. I'm gonna save Voyager, or send Voyager back home, because that was her choice, and she's always regretting it. And here she's like, nah, it's not worth it. Like, come on, you're second guessing yourself, Janeway.
I mean, Janeway will lose a few people along the way, but they were nobodies anyway. Who cares about them? They were just extras.
This is a great lecture, though, by Chakotay. Like, to summarize the show, like, come on, you save Seven, you save Icheb, Naomi was born here. You're saving species. You stop the Krenim from Year of Hell. You stop the Borg. And that was a good line by Janeway too. Are we going to spend the next 7 years bickering, like, where you're going to be like showing me the wisdom of things?
What if, instead of diplomacy, with
We use a
Sesko we
gun.
used a gun? Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're just Kazon. Oh, just cut straight to it. Okay, sure. But you got one part of that wrong, Siska. This is not a serum.
TNG never gave us, Tasha's daughter again. I think we got the Blursa and Beator sisters like twice, but plus the movie. But I like that Seska keeps popping up because she really is so hateable. Like she's
But
the
her
person you love
spoon
to
isn't
hate.
even blue. She's only like half Cardassian.
She has a blue. Oh no, she doesn't.
She
But
just has a regular spoon.
she's the Cardassian you love to hate. She's hitting on him so hard.
Can we go with the gun plan?
Yeah.
I remember growing up hearing that men grow more distinguished and women fall apart. But then somebody convinced me that women grow more distinguished and men fall apart. The truth is, we all fall apart.
Speak for yourself.
Oh no!
Everyone wants to bring the ship in a temporal sync with their time frame. Don't you just hate it when people try to bring the ship in a temporal sync with your time frame?
The
It
villain.
happened to be next Tuesday.
The villain isn't as dumb as we thought. But she does some pretty good logical thinking here. She's like, if you're here, that means you must have retaken the ship at some point. So I need to stop that.
Okay, she's being less smart now in that she's still trying to get him on side instead of shooting him.
She's dumb. She's
Yeah,
really-
someone should use a gun here for sure.
Well,
Don't cut to
no,
credits. We
she's
know what's
smart.
going to happen here.
She's
He's
smart.
going to be
She's smart.
rescued.
Seska's smart. She doesn't trust Chakotay anymore. Wow, super cool special effects.
It wasn't so bad.
Nah, I like it too.
Why did they tackle the Kazon instead of shooting them?
Because they were taking advantage of the element of surprise of being in a different
Follow-up
region.
question.
But you can do that with a gun.
Naomi pressed a total of like 3 buttons and a console exploded. Why does it have an explode button? It is nice that we're bringing everybody together from the different periods. We got the early people. We got the future people. We've got the Borg.
This is so great. I mean, I feel bad for Jerry Ryan.
This, of course, is the suit that literally suffocated her and did cause her to pass out or almost caused her to pass out.
And she wore it once before too. Like after she was unassimilated, they still put her back in that suit. But what I'm saying is though, they have like undeassimilated 7 of 9 come rescue future Chakotay, trying to convince Seska to restore the timeline.
Ah, see, no memory of what's happened. Wrap it up nicely.
Yes.
Hey, this is better than Avengers Endgame because we got all the Avengers from different timelines.
We even got Harry Kim. Where are they going?
This is where Chakotay tells this episode says Harry Kim designed astrometrics and then the Borg sensors enhanced it. This is a next question too. Are we gonna be romantic?
Tell her about the monkey episode, Chakotay.
Yeah, you're gonna be single for the rest of your life, Captain.
There are some
Congratulations.
lines the writers didn't feel like going for.
Yeah.
It was implied a few points, but they're both too professional, I think, to have a relationship.
I like she still has her Rambo stuff on the bridge, just hanging out.
Mhm.
So she has no memory, but does she still have the gear? Because I was expecting to see her Rambo stuff phase out of existence.
Oh yeah.
My God, it's the lightning effect again.
Yeah.
They okay. So he's saying that very casually, but the deflector being burned out
Yeah,
is basically just as bad as the warp core being offline because you can't do anything without the deflector.
def.
Really.
If you go to warp without the deflector, you just explode.
It's not true.
No, they just had to set up the temporal prime directive so they could have the funny moment at the end.
But that it's not even that doesn't make any
It's the only
sense.
it's the only reason
Like
it's
they're allowed to
canon.
have let the past affect the future. Like
Don't worry about that. Wait, are those look at their glasses. They have like wide brims. Are those flasks? Like chemistry flasks?
Yeah. Oh, but the bottle has one of those rims too.
I mean, she might be telling the truth. Who knows? Oh, he did mention the cargo bay himself, didn't he? Oh.
yeah.
Anyway, what's the next episode? Oh yeah, the next episode's the Turtlehead one.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
So
whoa, 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 whoa. That's a racial
1
slur.
minute to Turtlehead.
Oof. Ryan, you're usually like the voice of reason on
Look,
the show.
turtles are great animals. Everyone loves
Yeah.
turtles.
And frankly,
They're
I'm
cool.
offended. I'm offended when you say spoonhead too.
Do
Mm-hmm.
you have a spoon? Do you know anybody who has a spoon? On your
No,
head?
it's just a derogatory term for perfectly nice people.
Yeah.
They're not perfectly nice. They're an analog for Nazi Germany. They're literally Nazis. Was that the intent when writing them? I mean, it has to be, right? They literally did a
It has
Holocaust.
got to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like because the concentration camps, there were two parts.
Hang
There
on.
were the
Let's
death
play in
camp.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play. Okay.
There was the death camp, and then there was the labor camp. So they, if you basically were good enough to work, you were not incinerated or gassed to death. But yeah, so I mean that's what the ore processing center of Terraknor was. It was a labor camp for Bajorans, like straight out of Auschwitz, basically. They even describe killing the weak. Like if you're weak, you're dead. If you're too sick, you're dead. You're just here to work.
Basically, if you're a Bajoran, you're dead.
If
At
you can
some
work,
point.
yeah. If you can work, you work. So
Everybody knows the manual always not exaggerates. It's always needlessly conservative.
Yeah.
My god,
So
is this some sort of plague episode?
she
She's got
has.
some kind of disease.
Yeah.
She's got a parasite. I like this the really dramatic horror music.
And we don't know if she's sick or what.
They're really building up to the reveal.
Here it
Music
goes.
change? Music
Pregnant.
change.
Do you think Turtlehead
Mhm.
is an effective term for Klingons?
I mean, yeah.
We have a Klingon who's offended by it, therefore.
I mean, you really gotta assume that anything referring directly to that directly characterizes the anatomy of person of a given race as offensive. Like it's never going to be good.
Well, look at you, dead fiber head.
Alana's like the most thin-skinned Klingon in the galaxy, though, so take that with a pinch of salt.
I don't know, Klingons in general are very sensitive.
If you were
If you
any
say the
other
wrong
man,
thing to any Klingon, they'll try to murder you.
I would kill you where you stand.
Yeah, they always say I'll kill you where you stand, but I never see it, so I don't know.
They just, I think one time in the movies, I think Star Trek 3 or something, they show that brutality where, like, if you don't obey your commanding officer fast enough, you get phasered and vaporized. But you're right. Ever since then, they never actually do it. They just and
I
Dax.
think it's because there wouldn't be much cast left if that was
Right.
the case.
Absolutely. And Dax also points out the thing where you kill your superior officer, challenge them to the death, that only happens in certain like structured ritual circumstances. It doesn't happen like casually.
I mean, I remember Gowron murdering a dude once.
And then
'Cause
Worf
he was
kills Gowron,
challenged?
though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So there's a couple instances, but it's very rare. They're mostly talk.
yeah. Right.
I noticed
So-
on the credits for this episode it said guest star Manu Iter what's his name? Guest star Icheb. But on previous episode it just said his name. It didn't say guest star. What's the deal?
I think like now he's a recurring guest star rather than just like just a star. But I really like this episode because, well, first of all, it's structured in a very weird way. In the sense that first, genetic engineering of your child is a really interesting thing. Like if your child is deaf or autistic and you could just tweak a few genes and we're very close to this, would you do it? And clearly the answer is yes. But what if I wanted to lighten my child's skin or give them a color hair or color eyes? What if cosmetic changes I feel should be outlawed?
Yeah, I think in Starfleet, oh, well, not in Starfleet, but the Federation, they say at one point that they do use genetic engineering to remove, like, if someone has a deformity or something, but they just don't use it for anything else.
Defects, yeah. Even here in this episode, they fix the baby's spine with the genetic engineering because B'Elanna had the same deformity.
He just wants a designer baby.
Yeah. So we, at some point we're gonna have to start regulating this because.
Oh, come on! Don't be such a buzzkill. Could we also get some like post-birth genetic augments? I would love some augments.
No, because
can I be like big and strong and charismatic and all the other good things?
Could I like get turtle DNA?
What?
But this episode shows why, like, I'm not particularly being a buzzkill. Because, like, what if somebody does go crazy and be like, I don't want my baby to have any of my racial genetic characteristics because they're self-hating or insecure otherwise? Right? Like you can't. In fact, Tom even has a really good line in this episode. He says, "You're of mixed heritage because she's half Klingon, half human, and your child will be the same thing. So it's something that you have in common."
Good
Yeah.
news has no clothes? What does that mean?
Everybody knows something when there's good news. So basically, Icheb and Seven told everybody on the ship that she's pregnant, and they were hoping to keep it quiet. What
Does
would you
anyone
name?
have a preferred name for Balana's baby?
Yes.
For example, Balana the Next Generation.
You don't hear many Klingons called Kalis. That may be good. Pretty unforgettable.
Isn't that literally Kalis' title? Kalis the Unforgettable?
Yes.
There's some Klingon. Okay. I see what you did there in that case.
It's like there aren't many. I don't think there's ever anyone else that's called Kalis.
Well, there's also Kalis.
Oh yeah, but that's a different Kalis.
So this part is where Harry's teasing him in the sense that they're gonna have a boring life now that you're a dad.
Harry, don't go full boomer humor on us. He can do whatever he wants.
but then Ryan, you say Tom's a bad dad, and because he never does it, Tom's a bad
No,
husband.
no. I said he's a bad husband.
That he never does anything for Balana, but here he really, really, really tries to meet her halfway. So I feel like you're just
Well, that hasn't happened yet. So
you're maligning a perfectly good man.
Look, one good
jury's
deed
out.
does not redeem a man of a lifetime of wickedness.
Ah yes, a classic Kalis the Unforgettable quote.
I like how he comes to Tuvok for fatherly advice because he's the only father that he knows on the ship.
Yeah,
Well, now he knows.
he looks like grandpa now.
Sorry, what was
Is that
that?
it? Tuvok's a grandpa.
Is he?
No, he's not
Yeah.
a grandpa, but he says my
He
kids are
gets
big.
a. He
Are
gets
you
a. You
implying
know that
that-
episode where they all get the letters?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Kim's
yeah.
like, "Oh, where's my letter?" For like the whole episode. It's like the most
Mhm.
annoying thing ever.
Mhm.
Tuvok gets a letter, and it's his son has had a son.
Oh, right. Sure.
Also, Tom, his children were Vulcans, so I don't know if this is going to apply.
None of it's gonna apply. It's like, don't celebrate any birthdays. Birthdays are illogical. That's a good advice, though. You should anticipate paradox.
Do you think Tuvok also sent his kids to that, not a military academy, to that weird emotional boarding school?
The one where they get indoctrinated into being
Yeah.
like him. Wait, was that Tuvok that went there? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? No, wait.
Yeah.
Was
Tuvok was sent because he had a crush on a girl, and he was out of control.
He was like, "Oh, I want to marry her" or something, and the guy's like, "All right, calm down."
Let's get in there and dig that part of your brain out.
That was Kolinar training. He was gonna do. It's the apex of. Spock does it too.
Is Kolinar even canon? Isn't that the one where they say total purging of all emotions? I don't think that ever happens again.
That's in Star Trek 1.
Yeah, but is it ever mentioned again for anybody?
I think Tuvok's about to go for that too in that same episode where he's a monk, basically.
But he was like 12 in that episode.
So this is actually a really well written episode because the writers have had 7 seasons to do this. We think Balana's overreacting, but
Do we?
we kind of see in the rest of the episode. Okay, so Paris makes this joke about, oh, no one wants to mess with a Klingon mother, and she starts having flashbacks about her father complaining about being married to a Klingon
Her
woman.
whole childhood trauma is about the fact that she's half Klingon.
Yeah,
It's like
but also
half of her character is
her,
Klingon trauma.
her her father made like a slight like a statement where like my mother said that marrying a Klingon would make their women are too hot, and now I have two of them. So then she tells her father to leave, and he actually leaves. So she feels guilty. But anyway, she's worried that Tom is going to run out on her, and that's how deep
Oh my
these
God.
psychological fears are.
What are those spikes on the spine?
That's Klingon vertebrae.
But I feel like
By the way, spinal curvature is really common. It's not easily treated. It's actually really painful. But
okay, but I feel like the spikes, as they're designed on that spine, if you like turned, they would start slicing your internal organs. Those are big spikes.
that's true. They took that baby. Something weird about this episode, B'Elanna hacks into the Doctor, but there's no repercussions for like tampering with, your job's computers and medical ethics.
Yes, protect the child.
They found so many IT professionals that installed like Bitcoin mining software at their job, like usually like a school or like a government office, and they thought they could
Oh,
get away.
that's weird. Oh, I don't like this.
Yeah, this whole episode has weird children CGI.
Also, B'Elanna doesn't like this either.
But B'Elanna starts going crazy.
Look at the trauma on her face.
The funny thing is, 5 minutes ago she was saying, "I don't even want to know the gender of the baby," and now she's obsessed with like any Klingon vestiges in her appearance. Hey, this dad's a piece of shit.
It's fine. All we have to do is do some genetic manipulation and mutilate the child. Super easy.
I do remember though being in my first relationship.
Was it a Klingon?
No, but I said, well, the baby should have your eyes, your hair, your skin, your lips, your everything. But anyway, that was just me being in love. But you can't literally do that. So maybe she's just enamored with the way Tom looks.
Nope. No, that's definitely not it. No, it's definitely trauma.
Yeah, it's definitely your own racial insecurities from childhood
B'Elanna's
bullying.
had like 3 separate episodes about how much she hates being a Klingon.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh my god, it's McKinley Park? Griffith Park? It's that same park.
yeah.
Wait, what? Did she just say the field strength of the targeting lure? It's like... It's an electronic fishing pole. Optronic fishing pole, perhaps.
So he's just getting rid of her. It's like, oh, go on with your cousins. And she's like, I don't get along. He doesn't, at first, he's also not spending any time with her. Like, you're just trying to get rid of your kid. Like, typical Worf fashion.
But he just wants her to hang out with other kids her age, who definitely are not going to start calling her racial slurs once the adult has stepped out of the room.
I'm really glad you said other kids her age, because I read a really interesting article about how, like, in the 1800s, like, a school would be all the kids in one, like, room, basically, of different ages, and kids collaborate better with different age groups. But when you're with the same age group, your peers are very narrow, and that's when bullying really comes out. But otherwise, like, a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 16-year-old can help each other do learning all kinds of ways. Kids your own age are the worst.
Kids your own age are the worst.
They really are.
Oh, what is what are you, Doctor? What are you doing? Are we sure the doctor is qualified for any? I think he's just excited. He doesn't know nothing.
Pretty sure he didn't do this with Samantha Wildman.
He didn't do any of this for Samantha. Which, I mean, I'm sure she's quite glad for, because this seems crazy.
I mean, later he's about to change everything about the baby on that same table.
So yeah, they are eating actual fish, so they're not pure vegetarian. They just don't enslave animals for food purposes. They'll still kill animals,
Yeah.
but they don't farm them.
I also think, like, in the 90s, we didn't call out racist, sexist, and homophobic humor the way we do now. Like, for example, Jay Leno's show had Asian jokes, like Asian drivers are slow, Asian drivers are terrible.
Racist humor was a little bit on the way out already.
No, it was
yeah.
pretty acceptable, actually, I think.
More than now, but
Yeah.
but
So, you know,
it was definitely sort of, you know,
I mean, you couldn't.
It didn't just go without
comment.
as it would
Hey,
have, you know, other
ear review.
Yes.
Ear review. How old are you?
I'm 36 years old.
36. Okay.
And that's all he's got to say about that.
I just wanted to know if he like legitimately remembers the 90s, or if he's just, you know, saying
Back
things.
in the good old days when I had no responsibilities.
You know, Jay Leno himself has apologized for making Asian jokes, and you know, so somehow, like, I mean, anyway, let's just.
Is that a CGI person?
Yes.
That doesn't look like a real child.
They smoothed over like a real child's face with like primitive Photoshop.
No, Balana, you can't just
Splice. But I just want to say, like, the earthworm joke, I think I would have laughed at that. But like I said, I had my own like childhood history of being racially bullied. But like that's kind of funny because like Klingons eat gach, so you put an earthworm on our sandwich. Ha ha ha.
That, if you say so. Also, what are it seems like the better method here, if she really wants to eugenics her child, would just be to ask the computer to do it. Like, computer, delete the necessary genetic sequences to remove forehead ridges.
Yeah.
No, but she also gave the child blonde hair, by the way. She's totally.
I think that was on accident.
Yeah, that was accident because she was removing the other. Once you remove the other genomes, then that's what you want. You wind up with Tom's genes.
Oh, come on, think of all the...
What?
I love...
I think it'd be awesome to have
organs.
redundant organs.
I'll take a third lung.
Is the doctor actually going to refuse it? I think this will mark the second time the doctor has refused to do something. The first time was he refused to murder Tuvix. It's pretty arbitrary, Balana.
Why don't you just remove all the organs? Then nothing can be diseased.
If we just remove the child
Android
completely...
Android body.
No android body. That could be prone to breakdowns.
Remove the parasite. Remove the parasite.
If you just kill it, it can never be diseased at all.
Just extract its neural energy and put it in the computer.
She's a really talented engineer. She has access to the transporter. I don't know why she needs the doctor's help to do anything.
Well,
'Cause
she's
it's
not
a-
a doctor. She's an
it's a
engineer.
She could just go in. She could just go in and make a transporter algorithm that edits the genetics of a baby and just run herself through the transporter.
it's a
This
medical.
is the
ethics
old
episode.
projections versus reality argument they just had. Like,
It's about medical ethics, which is a recurring theme throughout the show.
Yeah.
Like in the future, when we are able to clone
what if
people,
I just take out all my child's organs?
Oh, another Star Trek prop. It's barely even a prop. So the like spanner he's holding.
Hexagonal pipe thing.
Yes, I like that one of their fancy advanced tools that they use all the time is just a pipe.
Is that a hyperspanner?
I think that's a hyperspanner, yes. I can never remember. It's hyperspanner in Star Trek because Star Wars has the other one, the hydro spanner. There's a hydro spanner and a
Presumably
hyperspanner.
that-
I can never remember which is which.
Hydrospanner sounds like it's used for underwater construction.
Tom
It's used
Paris
on starships, well,
is
or spaceships.
such a sweetheart. He's like, everyone will accept her for who she is, and he's like, oh well, you're human, and she's like, there's 146 humans on the ship, and you don't know how it is.
Oh, we could genetically manipulate him to be a Talaxian.
Oh my, the worst curse possible.
That's
We
a
could
war
give her-
crime.
We could do the whiskers.
Like, B'Elanna is so delusional here. She even says, when she's in the
Hyper.
doctor's
There
office,
we go. Hyperspanner.
health-
Hyperspanner.
her health comes
Hydro
first
spanner is from Star Wars.
and has nothing to do with your child's health.
Although, B'Elanna, I don't think
Well, that's never
the
a good
captain-
look. Don't say that.
the captain can't order him to do that. She can't really order the doctor to do much of anything.
You know, there's my brother studied sociology when he was in college. He didn't finish, but there's a very interesting phenomenon called passing. You know, so specifically, like some black people or people of any race, you can be light skinned enough to pass for a white person, and so you can live your whole life passing for another race. And usually it would be white because you have more advantages, right, as opposed to being black in the 1950s. But so it's a huge sociological thing that sociologists study, and it's kind of implied here. Like, do you want? What if she just wants to give her child the most cultural advantage that she can? Why are we judging her?
Because, well,
listen.
I'm judging her because she's trying to genetically mutilate her child for the sake of social advantage.
The only character, what's the word I'm looking for? Her entire character, B'Elanna's entire character, just revolves around childhood trauma, and now this is just a projection of her childhood
None
trauma.
of this is in the best interest of the child. It's just her own trauma.
Yep.
They put a
Yeah.
worm in her sandwich, and now she wants
Whoa.
to mess her child up.
What is that? That's not a clarinet. Wait, is that a clarinet?
It's a saxophone.
No, it's not a
No.
clarinet.
Sax. It's a tenor sax.
I'm quite glad that he's moved away from the clarinet because "Ode to the Void" was a really bad song. I know that might be a hot take, but yeah. Or no, it was "Echoes of the Void." That's what it was.
They almost made that the intro theme. They were going to change the intro theme to Echoes of the Void.
No,
I'm
they weren't.
joking. I know.
I don't know why they're showing, Tom about to sleep on the couch because we know, they shared.
Or
the
did they
bed.
just replicate another bed?
Yeah.
God, I hate to be siding with Tom, but yeah, no, for this episode, I'm with
He's a-
him.
He's a reformed, upstanding young man.
No, he's not.
He's a
Why?
pillar of the community.
You
Nope.
would support genetic augmentation for bigger muscles, and let's just leave it there, right? So, or
Who
more.
who are you saying this to? Who are you
right.
declaring would support
Do-
genetic
You
You
augmentation?
would
And-
support
and
bigger
A-review-
muscles.
A review is just
No,
he's
well,
Don't go
putting
full Balana and start
words-
projecting onto
Ryan,
us.
Ryan talks about becoming robotic all
He's
the
telling
time.
what you think.
Yeah, I
He
But
wants
he's not
to-
saying genetically modify people. He wants to replace his
I'm an
weak,
adult man that can make my own decisions
fleshy,
about what I
squishy
want my body
body
to do.
with cold steel. Okay,
Yes.
he
Or
wants to
aluminum, or
embrace
what have you.
the titanium,
Titanium, yeah.
Okay.
uranium.
Are you a
take it back.
worshipper of the Omnissiah now? When did I miss?
I just
Yes.
don't like having all these flesh parts that break down.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
But they literally maintain themselves. If you convert to a steel body, you'll have to do all that work.
Yeah, but it'll last forever.
Not if you don't maintain
Well,
it.
I mean,
Her
it'll
dad
last.
here.
With maintenance, the human body will eventually break down and die. With maintenance,
Her
the
dad's.
superior metal body can last forever.
Her
What about the
dad's not
squishy
even-
brain?
That part's more complicated. I don't know.
Well, we're gonna put it on a hard drive at some point.
But no, in response to your declaration that I support genetic augmentation,
sorry.
I would support genetic augmentation of an adult who makes the decision for themselves.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Sorry for assuming.
Look, consent is important. All right, it's an important
Mhm.
concept.
Good. So
Informed consent.
again, Star Trek is a lesson in how not to be a father. Because so he's like, oh yeah, they used to tease me. They used to call me Jon Snorris. It's like, no, you're being abused you're being teased for your appearance and your race, which is totally different than simply getting a clever nickname.
Actually,
He's
you know,
totally
it seems
unempathetic.
like the only good dad in Star Trek seems to be Cisco. Like all the other
Cisco,
male
yeah.
role models are actually really bad.
Oh my
Come to
God.
think of it.
Her dad
That was
just gave
really
her a
important
terrible
to
life
Avery
lesson.
Brooks because at the time there really wasn't a whole lot of
Like single dads.
Role models.
single dads,
Yeah.
especially single black dads. Like
Yeah, it hasn't changed at all, too. Like, it is remarkable how many black men on television have trouble in some way being usually they'll want to be a better
it's kind
family
of a
man,
trope.
but it's remarkable. Once you start noticing it, it's like
Even Cisco
Yeah,
ditched his family at the end of the
remarkably
show.
And then here, instead of like hanging out with his daughter, he goes back to hanging out with his brother and his brother.
He ditches his
kids.
daughter after
As he-
she just confided in him that she was being bullied, and he said, "You just need to learn to be less sensitive."
And then she goes read
Don't be
the book by
bullied, lol.
himself. And she just goes reads a book by himself, and he's hanging out by the campfire.
He
It's like-
literally turned around and said, "Get good, scrub," and walked away.
So they don't want to spend any time with their kids. Kirk is the worst too.
Does he
Oh
have
yeah,
kids?
Kirk has a
What?
kid.
Kirk didn't know he had a kid.
Yeah, that's not on
He
him. That's
found
not
out
his
he had a
fault.
kid, and like a week later, the kid got murdered.
Yeah,
Oof.
true.
He
Picard didn't
didn't
want
even get a
kids.
chance. He didn't get a chance to be a bad dad.
And then in TNG, his kid turned into a drug addict.
I'm
Does
not
Janeway have
sure.
any kids?
I'm
Janeway
not
doesn't have
sure,
kids. She has a
um,
dog.
It's not quite the same. No matter what people that own dogs tell you, it's not the same thing.
No, I'm not sure what kind of dad Kirk would have been, but he didn't get the opportunity to be a
Okay.
bad dad.
All right, let me take it back. I'll take it back. James C. Kirk did
And
not have the
What
opportunity.
about
to be a
Picard?
dad. Picard's a great dad.
Picard
I
again
think his
didn't know
potential as a
he
dad
had
is
a.
quite good, but he just never wanted it.
Oh, Picard could have been
Yeah.
a good dad, but he
I
didn't
think
want to
he
be.
would have, because Picard's the
Well-
type of person that if he tries to be good at something, he ends up being good at it.
Yeah,
He just never
maybe.
wanted to be.
Here, Chakotay tells us that the feminine form of Chakotay is Taya, and they should name the daughter Taya.
That's so selfish.
And then he knows
I know
it's
it's like a
stupid
joke.
idea.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows
It's
it's a
like,
stupid idea. So he says, "Why don't you figure it out yourself?"
Hey.
Instead of taking. But people do have a lot of suggestions when you're about to have a kid.
yeah. I think they just want to be part of it in some way.
And I love here. Chakotay realizes they're having a fight, so he just
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 like,
get the
see
heck
ya.
out of there.
I'm not putting up with this.
Bye.
even though she doesn't want to talk to him at all.
I'm just remembering how in season 1, Balana had a massive crush on Chakotay.
Yeah, and it never went
She
anywhere.
like had dreams about him.
Oh yeah, there's that episode where they all have dreams where they can't wake up from, and she has a wild one.
So
And
here's a
then-
question.
Hmm?
Go ahead, finish.
I was gonna say, and then Chakotay had the budding romance with Janeway, and that just never goes anywhere, which is a shame.
And then he gets
And
with
then they
Seven.
shoehorn,
Yeah, it's
him and
so
Seven in the last
bad.
few episodes.
But you'd like to be
So
my
bad.
collective.
And we can confirm that does not work out long term.
Mm-mm.
So
Did they even mention it? I
No.
don't.
Just
It never even.
Seven gets with Rafi though, so we know.
Guess
that doesn't-
Chakotay's just dead or something.
Well, and then that breaks up too for
Are
unstated
they
reasons.
back together? Because they break
It's
up.
unclear. She's
They're
now
broken
a
up.
first officer, so like it would be weird.
here's a question. So both Kirk and Picard's Golem are introduced to their child when the child is already an adult in the 20s,
Oh, no.
right? So is there a difference between like raising
Full
a
on alter the
kid?
doctor.
Can you be a good dad if you just meet your child when they're already an adult? Like, is it? I mean, I feel like there's some type of contextual difference between like raising a kid from birth and then, just meeting them as an adult for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much you can do really. That
I
point.
mean, here's the thing though: being a dad itself is not a biological thing, right? Like, in other words, I know my best friend, his stepdad has always been there for him, and his biological father's been somewhat distant. So I know when he calls his stepdad dad, like he really means it in a very
For
intimate way.
context, let me just establish: is anybody here a dad?
No,
Mm-mm.
so we're all just theorizing.
No
Yeah,
father.
not
We're
that I am
talking from
aware
experience.
of.
It's fine.
Not that I'm
Theoretically.
aware of, but
Theoretically.
I may be in one of those situations where someone's like, "Hey, here's your
Uh-huh,
22-year-old son."
sure,
Oh,
Robo.
How many
okay.
planets have you bedded women on, Robo?
So
Yeah,
Balana just alter
Yeah.
the doctor's
One more than
program
you
to try
have.
to
Okay.
alter a
Whoa,
child.
why are you
This
getting
feels like
personal?
divorce
Jeez.
material. This is bad. She can't. This is at minimum a crime, right?
Certainly an office violation, because my office has a strict thing. You can't bring in your personal equipment. Like, my second monitor has failed. I'm about to bring in my 32-inch from the job, from home to the job, and that's strictly not allowed, even though it's just a monitor. So
There might be a virus on the monitor.
right.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually. So
Well, if it's broken and and it says that they're supposed to provide me with equipment.
there, you can put a virus on a mouse. So there was a exploit in the Razor
USB.
mice that they
Yeah.
had to release a firmware update for, because when you would plug in a Razor mouse, it would automatically launch with elevated permissions a setup file, and from within the
God.
setup file you could launch Explorer windows with elevated permissions. So like
Oh,
you could
Jesus
take a
Christ.
Razor mouse to some place that has like a lockdown computer, you could plug it in and open up an Explorer window with elevated permissions and do whatever you wanted.
Ooh.
God, USB is the worst for security.
Mhm. For sure. So yeah, this is probably illegal for sure, Ryan. As to your point,
What?
you can't rewire the EMH or
Yeah,
office
big
computer.
crime.
Like the prior scene, it was like, yeah, we'll do it in the morning, and then 5 minutes later, she's convinced the doctor to like do the procedure like right now.
Wouldn't that turn off the doctor
Don't worry about that.
if it cut power to the surgical bay?
No,
Nah,
it's
he's
cutting-
like he's linked
Okay.
into the whole thing.
I vote
Yeah.
we phaser Balana and the child.
So there's no
Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a
repercussion.
second. Hold on. I feel like this treads into a little bit of like bodily autonomy stuff. Because it's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, yeah, it's basically the whole episode.
Yeah.
well, no, I'm saying like, no, never mind. It'll get too heated. Not heated, but
I mean,
I'm
the
just
whole
saying,
point in
like,
episodes like this are to explore the issue in a way that's removed enough from our experience that you can sort of have a chat about it, you know?
yeah. Well, I'm just saying,
That's
like,
why-
okay, so she have a right to an abortion, right? But not the right to alter the child.
Like I said, I think there's a difference in cosmetic and necessary health ones. So like she totally blames herself for her dad leaving, and like your dad was just not a great dad. Sorry to say. He couldn't.
What if we use a gun on the dad?
But yeah, but also don't ruin every relationship you have just because you think that
Let's
your
put a
parents.
worm in your sandwich.
Yeah.
Has she already reconciled with her dad? Because there's an episode at some point when she's talking to him in astrometrics.
Yeah, I don't know if that's happened yet.
I just remember her mom from the Barge of the Dead episode, and you can you sympathize with the guy a little more if the mom is like that. But why would he marry a woman who's like a traditional Klingon in every way? I don't get that part.
Why not?
Well, I'm just saying she's just so fiercely Klingon.
So?
I don't know how that marriage.
Was that a problem?
No, it's not a problem. But I'm just saying though, like it's like me marrying someone who's like goes to Catholic mass for 3 hours every Sunday and like wanted to have kids. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like I don't think we can raise kids because my values are different than yours.
Are her values that different from his?
Do you remember the Barge of the Dead episode?
I have no idea what point you're trying to make.
Okay. When you look at like Sarek and Amanda, you kind of see, okay, those two people are compatible. I don't think
The only thing we saw of her mother from Barge of the Dead is the fact that she really liked Balana and she believed in the Klingon afterlife.
she's
That's pretty much all we learned about her
feisty,
mom.
She's accusatory. She's
That's also a hallucination.
no. I believe in Stovacor.
Do you believe that particular instance was actually Stovacor, though?
That was Grey Thor, actually, but yeah.
I have a terrible
Yes.
headache. Any ideas?
Gun.
Which one?
Rub your temples slowly
specific.
with your fingers.
You specifically need a phaser because it has a stun setting.
Oh, yeah. I was.
Also,
Was it on here last week when we were like, does this phaser have a low enough setting where I can use it for like therapeutic purposes, like to
yeah.
Just
warm up my
very
muscles,
low
stiff
stun
muscles?
to drift you off to sleep.
Yeah, that'd be great. I feel like time to go to bed.
I have this chronic pain in my ankle. Just make it tingle until I go to bed.
Well, I mean, it must have a low enough setting, right?
But
I bet you could get a bed with like an induction coil in the mattress where it slowly phasers you to sleep.
And then you wake up all cooked. But
It'll
Robo,
turn off.
Good. Number one cause of headache is dehydration. So do drink some water.
I've been drinking water,
Okay.
a little bit at a time, because if I drink too much, I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna throw up. So
Oh,
I
she
just didn't.
apologized for violating his program. That's why there
I
were no
need
refunds.
caffeine. I need caffeine.
Yeah, that will cause headaches.
No, that'll help headaches.
Oh my god, wait. Not guilty by reason of biochemistry. So if you get pregnant, you can get away with anything.
Your hormones
Perfect
may
Bahana.
timing.
If you
This is-
murder Neelix, you
this
can
is
get
no
away
longer
with it.
This is no longer the 90s, so I think that's no longer excusable because I didn't get that joke until you just explained it, Ryan.
Give her a little tiny batleth inside. That's how she gets out. She does her own cesarean section from the inside out.
I do have a little like Batleth letter opener. She could use that.
There you go. Perfect.
Also, just as a reminder, so Roxanne Dawson was actually pregnant a couple of seasons ago. So yeah, she has experience.
Yeah, that's why she was wearing that coat. And
They generally
every
filmed her
shot,
above the waist.
yeah, they try to hide
Or
it in
above the
every
belly.
shot with things. But Roxanne Dawson was dating. Was she
Casey
dating
Biggs, wasn't it?
Damar?
She
Yeah,
was
I think it
married
was
to him.
Damar.
She was married
I
to him.
thought she was
before she had
also
the
at
last
some
name.
point dating someone on the production crew of Voyager.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just know the Damar part.
I know Jerry Ryan was dating Brandon Braga
Yeah.
for a while.
God, that baby's so creepy.
Yeah.
They're playing it like a happy emotional moment, but it's freaking me out.
No, she's not.
Are we gonna rewatch TNG? No. You can rewatch TNG. Y'all can.
Well, once we get to the
But
end
not
of
stream.
everything, shouldn't we start at the beginning?
No, because so as soon as the watch-alongs are done, and as soon as I run out of outtakes, the channel's done. It's dead, 100%. Nothing else will be posted.
So there's a lot of shows though. And they're making more shows. So I think the show will never end because they'll keep making more shows.
I mean,
No, it'll definitely end.
I was gonna say they're not
This-
making them at a rate greater than
this-
one a week. So
This
yeah.
channel's definitely going to end. We have a definite expiration date.
No.
Also, 1 minute to the final episode, Repentance. Repentance is really good. It's politics in my Star Trek.
Yeah,
It's more
you're
likely
right.
than you think.
You're right, Jerry. So they're not making shows more at a rate of more than one a week, but they have a head start of 700 episodes. So
Yeah, but we'll catch up. Is the point?
yeah. Let's get through TOS first, then we can worry about how long Ryan has to live.
TOS is going to be so sketchy to watch. TOS, I'm very glad I'm not actually pumping any show audio through YouTube.
The special effects are awesome. The writing was awesome. The acting was pretty good sometimes.
We watched a very different TV show.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What version of TOS did you watch?
I was just saying though, for in 19.
Hang on, press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
TOS had amazing CGI and costumes for the
It
time.
had no CGI. It had zero CGI.
It had
Special
the solid blue rectangles drawn on screen for phasers.
Yeah. Star Trek 3 had CGI. I think it
Okay,
was.
okay.
And then,
Well, you know what I
got
mean.
Screwed up.
Special
Without
No,
time to redo it.
Rathacon had the CG sequence that they reused for Star Trek 3.
Okay.
Rathacon had that CG sequence of what happens when you use the Genesis device, and then they
that was
reused it in Star Trek
Rathacon,
3
okay. Yeah.
because it was so expensive.
It also
That was
It
what,
also went long
1981?
and it was too late to go and fix it, so it's really screwed up if you actually look around the periphery of the effect. But no one does, so no one notices. Everyone's only looking at the middle of it.
Like, you know the moving stars in the original series intro? cutting edge graphics at the time.
What were you saying about the edges of it, Gyrinx?
This was there was something about the I don't know if I heard about this years ago, but that the sequence, the rendering, there was some sort of bug in the rendering, and they had to redo it, but they didn't have time to redo the whole thing right, so they just did the center part of it, and so the edges of it looked more messed up, than the center. I mean, maybe they fixed it in the meantime, and then this was just the original release, but you know.
Sounds like the type of shortcut that would be taken if needed.
Exactly. Yeah, people won't notice. Like, it is surprising how those people don't notice things. Like the scene in Dark Knight where they go through the tunnel and now it's night and it was day before. Like, I would never have noticed that in a million years if someone had pointed out.
You know, Alfred Hitchcock.
The sun sets really fast, dude.
And the editing.
Real fast.
So, editors from the 50s, they've just known that, like, sometimes you'll edit something and the jump cut won't be perfect or be off. But, like, as long as you do it well and you're telling the story well, the audience will forgive, like, almost anything.
So, Mr. Knife Man, this is the guy. He's a really cool guy. He's nice. He's lovely. Also, in the background is Lieutenant Ayala. Eventually, someone will recognize him too.
So, this episode is basically how Europe feels about America. We're so barbaric, we still put people down for, like...
This isn't how people feel about America. This is the American justice system. We just execute people.
And then Europe is like, do we really want to sell you the chemicals where you execute people? Because we don't believe in executing people.
I think the bigger question of this episode is that if somebody has some type of neurological problem that makes them neurodivergent, are we morally or ethically obligated to give them a cure for it, even if they don't want it?
Or
like, if it's something that you could fix either with a chemical or with, like, if you had the ability, if you had the medical science to correct whatever is wrong in their brain.
This episode's going to be very complicated.
Right, and we build a jail in the cargo bay. I don't think we get that in any other Star Trek show.
And it's a big cargo bay. I swear, the jail set is like 3 times as big as the cargo bay set.
And Neelix is doing the chef, the prison rounds for feeding people, prisoners.
So that warden is Tim DeZarn. He's been in a few episodes of Star Trek. He was one of the aliens that tried to steal the Enterprise in Starship Mine. Or try to steal the resin. Not the Enterprise, stole the resin. Tim DeZarn.
Janeway and a Prime Directive.
Really, the natural evolution of that culture was for that ship to explode. They should have just left it.
Kill innocent people.
Also in this episode is Muniz from Deep Space Nine, the engineer who died in the ship. The episode called The Ship, not just any ship.
The Yuan.
I find that very unlikely.
He's not even killing his fellow inmate.
They should have beamed him in, like, upside down, a few feet off the ground. Bonk.
You see, that's just typical of the American justice system, isn't it? Needlessly punishing people. You don't revel in the punishment.
Just threatened to kill everybody. Oh, this is the episode where they give them compression phasers, but for some reason they shoot blue beams.
Or as I call it, spice stew.
Come on, man. They're still people.
It's Leola root. You've clearly you've never had Leola root. This is cruel and unusual punishment in and of itself.
Yeah, it's
It
Neelix's
tastes like a
food.
lovely mixture of ginger and spray paint.
It's Neelix's food. It can't be that great.
Tulox is like, you don't understand.
There he is.
This
There's
is what we
Munez.
do to punish people.
This is the punishment.
I mean, at least twice in this show, Neelix literally poisons people. Well, let me rephrase. At least twice he deliberately poisons people, and many more times he gives people food poisoning. He's just... You don't trust him.
Can't forget Rodeo Red's rootin' tootin' something something. Too many jalapenos.
All right, so do you think when they got back to Earth, and they're like, the service crew went in, they're like, okay, we're gonna like overhaul the ship, and they're like, why does it smell so bad? And everyone's just gotten nose blind to it, but everybody is just permeated with the smell of Neelix's cooking.
I bet the ship smells like wet fur.
Oh,
You know, like when someone like cooks a lot of curry or something, and then everything is just permeated with like the curry or some one particular really fragrant.
The justice system loves revenge, Doctor.
I mean,
It's the criminal
yeah.
revenge system. California. So, the death penalty in California, apparently we still have one, but we also haven't executed anyone in like 70 years. What are we
Yeah.
doing?
New York is the same thing. Actually, at one point, the Supreme Court of New York said it was unconstitutional. Then we allowed it again. But the funny thing, for like 2 years, the Supreme Court of the U.S. said death penalty was unconstitutional. Then they kind of brought
Are
it
you
back.
saying that we need to ramp up the amount of deaths caused by the death penalty to justify its
Well,
existence?
you see,
or-
if right now we have problems with overcrowding in prisons because we're imprisoning people for petty offenses, so if we just started executing everyone, we would have so
Yeah.
much more space.
And then you take them and you feed them to the other prisoners, and you solve two problems at once.
What happened? I was away
So-
for like a few episodes and never.
The U.S. incarcerates a larger percentage of its population than
Why does it sound
China.
like he's coming across a Hirogen subspace relay network? All of a sudden.
Yeah, Argos, you were a little blurry there. But the U.S. incarcerates a larger percentage of its population than communist China. So whatever we're doing, we are incarcerating too many people.
I mean, that's if you believe their statistics, which are famously dubious.
Yeah, so China
Still
just doesn't incarcerate
a
people. They
lot
just
of
have
people.
But to be fair, that is a whataboutism response, so it's not really a response.
Yeah,
they
I think we should set
they
up
go around and
higher.
Like your standard
literally
should be
have-
a TCP. That's not the bar.
they literally have
Yep.
euthanasia vans that go around and they euthanize political dissidents. So there's that.
That's pretty based. No, it's not.
Also,
They do
was
not
one of the
endorse
prisoners in
policy of the
Cogenitor?
CCP.
Yes, the guy who plays Munez in Deep Space Nine also plays one of the parents to be in Cogenitor.
So in the 1990s, the U.S. passed laws about like crack cocaine, where drugs that were used by blacks were had longer incarceration rates, or poor people, more accurately. Poor people drugs had like really long incarceration rates, and
That's still how it works.
Yeah, I mean they've done some things to like remedy that, releasing people early. But even marijuana being decriminalized, it was just a reason to lock up mostly Black and
Yeah.
Hispanic men.
Yeah.
So too many people in jails is a problem that the U.S. And in the 90s, basically the prison system was called a revolving door because basically you'd just be in and out if you were a Black man in
And
Baltimore.
that hasn't changed either.
And I like how this
Whoa. He can't just put down Tuvok like that. Tuvok's the best security officer you'll ever meet,
Did you
sir.
see? Did you see Tuvok's reaction? He is pissed.
Tuvok,
He
stun
literally
him.
is the best Starfleet security officer he'll ever meet. He's the only Starfleet security officer he'll ever meet, but you know.
And we'll guarantee it.
Ah, Starfleet always being moralizing.
Is this TV show political?
Surely not. They
I
wouldn't
think-
put politics in my Star Trek.
Is this what they call woke?
I think it's a tough
Woke's
thing
being
because
overly progressive.
I'll have to say I agree. Like you have someone like Timothy McVeigh who blew up a building which killed like hundreds of people, and I'm not really for the death penalty, but I can see why society might have an interest in putting down someone who does a heinous thing like that.
I mean, that's what like the court system is supposed to do, is to take every case with context instead of just blanket doing things.
yeah.
Whether it does that or not depends where you live.
Right.
So how's
Yeah.
the
Some people have
execution
an easier
system
time
in
getting their
England?
context considered than others.
You guys executing people over there?
Nope.
Not anymore.
Yeah, then I can definitely see, the argument.
They used to send them to an island far, far away.
That's right. This actually kind of did the Starfleet solution.
I mean, if you think
Yeah,
about
New
it, kind
Zealand.
of worked out, right? That Australia's a prosperous nation now.
Well, I mean, it's just another form of colonization, but sure.
Ah, Australia was empty. No one there.
Yikes.
This guy's face. It's very. It looks sharp.
It must hurt to go to sleep. Reminds me of the guy of that movie. You know, the one.
Yeah, the movie for sure.
Mm-hmm. The movie where the guy gets put on death row because he gets caught with like a dead kid because someone kills them. But he.
Oh, are you talking about Green Mile?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Green Mile, yeah. It's got Tom Hanks and it's got
Michael
like
Clark Duncan.
Walmart version Christian Slater. Michael Clark Duncan, yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually short. And so they had him on a milk crate all the time when they're filming to make him look, taller when he's in a frame with somebody. Yeah, he's like
Gimli.
yeah, he's like 5 something.
The magic of cinema.
I
John
think he
Rhys
passed away
Davies?
actually. Didn't he pass away about
Michael Clark
5 or
Duncan,
6 years
yeah,
ago?
he did.
Yes, Neelix. That's why we have prisoners from several different humanoid species. God, humanoid. Even the
Ah.
very term is racist.
It's Space Yugoslavia.
Oh, Paris. That's not correct.
What did he say?
Look, he's
they commit more
saying
crimes.
it completely innocently though. Like,
Mhm, mhm.
because in the future humans have moved past that type of thought. So he's just like, well, maybe it's
Mhm.
all things being equal. I don't know.
Yeah, well, maybe they
Mhm.
deserved it. You don't know.
That's funny because of his history. Maybe they just commit more crimes. Okay, Paris.
Mhm.
Former convict Paris.
Mhm.
What are the
Oh,
writers saying with this plot line? Because the data seems to support
I
Neelix's
was gonna
conclusion that
say,
the criminal justice system is unfair to their species.
yeah. I mean, that was the data of the very people being
Well,
bad. So,
two things may be
But
true.
then,
The justice system may be unfair to that species, but this guy may also be guilty.
yeah, but why
it's
would the
true,
writers
but-
write it like that? If they wanted to
yeah, it
make a
is
point
weird.
about the justice system being unfair, why would they have it be justified at the end because this guy's actually
You
an
would think
innocent?
parents would
often the
probably say,
writers.
"Oh, wait
Okay.
a second, maybe I should reconsider in light of this context." Like,
So
he kind of acts like he's still convinced when you should at least be uneasy now.
the
The writers
question
do that
is,
all the time. They like
can
present you with an obvious moral dilemma and then twist it a bit just to make you think.
but
They
there is a
subvert your
larger
expectations.
there is a larger purpose though. So the thing is that can you rehabilitate a criminal? Do you have to put him down? And so there's a question of will the victim's family forgive him? And at first they say no, but I think later they say yes. So like
Oh,
No.
they
In this,
show that
they
he
say no.
needed right. So but they show that he needed help, right? Because of some neurological condition, and therefore maybe you shouldn't kill him. There's a lot of mitigating factors.
I think it's the whole like environment. Does environment cause
Yes.
criminality or like is it innate?
Gee whiz.
Unrelated to politics in my Star Trek, what's the stuff on the front of his shirt? Does he have like little
LEDs.
LEDs? Why does he
Yep,
have
they're
LEDs?
LEDs. And that's so you notice that they have just one blue one because blue LEDs were new, and that was like expensive.
But what is what?
They look
What's
like
the
the
point?
bits of the pips you collect in
What's
a
the
Lego
point?
game.
It's probably like some type of restraint or tracking device for the prisoners.
I vote that all criminals must be subjected by law to nanoprobe therapy.
I hate that nanoprobes have just became a MacGuffin at this point in the series. They're just like, use
It's
the
just a
nanoprobes.
cure all for everything.
They're weapons, they're medical devices, they're little engineering tools. They can do anything.
I mean, they technically are, but also like, can we not just do something else rather than nanoprobes again?
Well, all right. Listen, you try
This is-
writing 24 episodes for 7 years.
Well, maybe
24
we
episodes
let
a year.
the nanoprobes do some writing. They could probably solve that problem.
Get
This
the
is-
AI. Get some AI scripts.
They
Just
say
put some
assimilate
nanoprobes
over
into
and
Rick
over again.
Berman.
Wait, what if the nanoprobes did write the scripts, and that's why there's so many nanoprobe scripts?
They're self-replicating.
Well, they do say that writers write what they know, and that's why we have so many like movies and scripts about like actual like Hollywood stuff, like screenwriters and actors and directors and
A lot of stories about nerdy men too. Like I'm convinced that the whole Manic Pixie Dream Girl thing came because that's how a lot of
The what?
a lot of writers feel like they need
the what?
Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Medic
Huh?
Pixie Dream Girl? What is
Manic
this?
Pixie Dream Girl, right? Oh, you haven't? Okay, I would have thought everyone heard of this. So that's just
Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Okay, got it.
Yes, it's
But
a very common thing, especially so this even happens in good movies like Stranger Than Fiction, where this guy who is an IRS agent needs to be shaken out of his boring life, and so he meets his dream girl, who's basically nuts. But yeah, Manic Pixie is
Can
that's
we
actually
get
a
some
good
more
movie that does
examples
it.
of
But
Manic Pixie Dream Girl?
Yeah. Was
Yeah,
it,
here. I'll send you a list.
it was the TV tropes page.
Gyrinx, you're
for it,
my
but-
manic pixie
Oh.
dream girl.
Never mind.
Thanks.
So manic
Fight
and
Club is
dreamy.
actually a variation on it.
There's a
It
list on
is usually
Wikipedia
a
of
heterosexual
examples.
Does
relationship,
Kess
but-
count?
Does Kess count? Well, yeah, Kess would be the doctor's manic
kinda,
pixie
I don't
dream
know.
girl, and Neelix is sort of.
She doesn't have the same.
She's a damsel in
Neelix is the manic
distress
pixie
most of the
dream
time.
girl.
Actually, the best example of it is the way it's subverted in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. As the girl there is very much would be that, only sort of the whole thrust of the movie is actually, I'm not here to be, to be all perfect.
Is there a
and
really
get
good
your life
Star Trek
together and,
example, though?
you know,
Is there a good Star Trek character that
Manic
exemplifies
pixie
that?
dream girl.
I don't know.
Vash. Vash.
Actually, kinda, yeah.
Vash is a good
Wait.
example.
Yeah.
Isn't this episode turns out that this guy is the one that's actually guilty despite him seeming nice?
Yeah, yeah,
And the
and
other guy is just like, I don't feel anything, so I've been doing crazy shit for years.
yes.
Yeah, and now that his brain is fixed, he feels bad, and he wouldn't have done it if it had been cured before.
So Neelix has been looking into the statistics and found that the criminal justice system is highly biased toward his species. But then it turns out in the end, no, this guy actually did straight up kill someone.
Yeah,
It's like, well, what?
yeah. It is
not
biased, but also
necessarily-
he is guilty.
And I guess the lesson there is those two things can coexist.
Yeah. That's one kind of problem with a lot of episodes like this that try to make a point like that, is that they have to have some sort of dramatic twist at the end for the third act, and they often kind of go back on the premise that way.
That like
Yeah.
creepy smile
Avada
after what if I
Kedavra.
murdered your child? That makes me feel like he's more guilty than he was before he said it.
Are his LEDs different from the other guy's LEDs?
Yeah.
I want to compare them directly. I need a screenshot of his LEDs.
Yeah, this guy's
I think-
got green, more green.
I think the other guys were all the same except the blue one, maybe?
No, the blue one's always in the center. So the green amber LEDs are usually made by having a green and a red in the same LED.
Yeah.
So and then you could have a red, green, amber LED, and it has three posts. It has a ground, and then it has a red and a green, and then when you want amber, you give them both 12 volt, or not 12 volt, but whatever, 3 volts. So he doesn't. I don't think he has any green, does he?
Yeah, that's what
I
I
can't
said,
tell,
they're all
it's
the
too
same
blurry.
except the blue one.
We'll get closer here. You have the blue one in the center, but
Oh.
there's red and amber, but
They're just like Lego pieces to me, but
it's like puzzle pieces or something.
Well, that zoom in. That was a weird
it's
shot.
like he's got like a jumpsuit, like he's about to get in an F1 car. That's what.
Maybe it's supposed to like denote like what kind of crimes the prisoner committed, like if they were a violent criminal or a non-violent criminal.
It's just maybe it's just their ID.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Or maybe it's
LEDs are
just the prisoner
completely
style.
different.
That's the fashion right now in Nigeria.
Okay, I
Speaking
posted
of
screenshots in the
prisoners-
general chat of their two LED strips. Yeah, they're totally different.
But is the shape underneath it the same? I think the shape underneath is the same, but the
Yeah, it's
layout
the
of the
same
lights are
base
different.
prop.
Yeah. They probably made a mold and then made a bunch in rubber and
Glued stuff onto it.
or whatever it is. Maybe they found something and they just
Like some
got
stuff
multiples
fell off
of
of
them.
one of the like cars of one of the staff, and they're like, "Yeah, stick it on."
I want to say it's like foam puzzle pieces.
Dude literally just
That's a big
didn't have a
leap.
conscience.
Impulse control doesn't equal conscience. You can have a conscience, but have low willpower and do something anyway on impulse.
Well, in this guy's case, it's just the
Mm.
conscience. Doesn't have one.
My conscience gland was malfunctioning.
Ah, self-control as well.
That's what happens when you confuse a prenasal ganglia for a something.
What was it? It was a pre-something ganglia with a post-ganglionic nerve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd never make that mistake. That's foolish. So, would you consider him to be rehabilitated? Could he request asylum?
I don't think anyone should be allowed to request asylum from Voyager. I mean, they're not in contact with the
again?
Federation. Well, I think
Can't
they are,
request
but
asylum from Voyager?
they shouldn't be.
They are
Because
at this
Voyager's
point.
not a government. Voyager is just a ship.
They can request asylum from the Federation, and Captain Janeway, as the highest-ranking Federation representative,
We'll examine
grant
your
it.
case in about 50 to 60 years when we get back to Earth. In the meantime, you can hang out in the brig.
Mhm.
Ah, that deceptive pineal gland. You can never trust it.
Wait, is that the conscience gland?
Yeah, according to the doctor.
Oh, that's how the family gets here. And the family are like, get up!
It will relieve his pain forever. It'll be so effective.
It's literally the best option.
God, that
Somehow executions became the best option. What?
I really don't like the vertical lines in sickbay because at this frame rate, it looks so painful on the eyes when it pans.
Yeah.
It's all weird and glitchy.
Not that bad.
It looks really
jeez.
nice in still shots.
Yeah.
Is it
As soon
okay
as
to
the
take
camera starts
aspirin and ibuprofen at the same time?
You can take acetaminophen and ibuprofen at the same time, alright.
Acetaminophen is.
Is that what aspirin is?
Yeah, it's like saying Kleenex or tissue, right?
Okay.
Well, you guys, don't you have another
Obviously,
name for
consult
it?
your
In,
doctor before you take my advice,
It's-
but we call it
There's another name
paracetamol.
for Tylenol. Tylenol is the
paracetamol.
one
There you
that-
go.
Yeah. It's Tylenol, not aspirin.
Oh.
I just took 600 milligrams of ibuprofen.
Are you in
Well,
pain?
give it like 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I got dehydrated. I got like some sunstroke yesterday. I was at outdoor event.
Just don't go outside. That's what I do.
Is your what's it called? The pineal gland? Is it playing up? Is that why you're in pain?
Yeah, my pineal gland. Are you talking about From
Your
Beyond?
conscience.
No, from this episode, the pineal gland is the conscience gland.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a movie with Jeffrey Combs called From Beyond, and it's the pineal gland is a plot point.
What?
You ha-
Is it actually a
haven't
real
seen
part
this?
of the brain? Like,
You haven't seen this movie? If
no.
you have time, Argos, I will stream this movie to you. It's awesome. Jeffrey Combs did some really cool stuff in the 80s.
Wait,
Oh my
Jeffrey
god, you can tell
Combs?
this guy's a good guy now because he put his collar up like a Starfleet uniform.
I mean, that does work if you go to court in a nice suit. People think you're a better person.
I got called in for jury duty once, and I tried to look as scary and unagreeable as possible, so they would dismiss me, and they did.
Okay. You got
They
your
asked me-
permanent record. Like,
They asked me a lot
Comment.
of questions about my job, and I just explained like my job is very analytical, and I don't think that the prosecutor liked that because
Yeah, they just want people to sit there and absorb. They don't want people to think. I don't think.
they want you to let your emotions sway you, and I'm very dispassionate and analytical. So
I done jury duty once, and basically half the jury just didn't care and were like falling asleep and stuff. And I was like, what? This could be someone's future here. Oh. All right, we're on the 4th Krispy Kreme donut today. That's fine, right?
Well, that's only like a third of the Krispy Kreme capacity. They come in dozens.
but who's got Krispy Kremes?
Me.
Oh, they have Krispy Kremes over there.
Oh, yeah.
Tim Hortons.
I'm impressed.
Wait,
Do
they
you
have
like them?
Krispy
And
Kreme
Whole Foods.
donuts at Tim Hortons?
No, and
No,
Tim
no.
Hortons. I
Oh,
have to say,
and
Tim
Tim
Hortons
Hortons,
is
not
better
at
than
Tim
Krispy
Hortons.
Kreme.
Go to Tim Hortons and get a sour cream donut or a glazed sour cream
That
donut.
sounds gross.
Oh no,
Sour
they're awesome.
cream? What?
No. The sour cream donuts are the best. They don't
Yeah, I
actually
know.
have sour cream in them. They just make them with sour cream, so they're like this really
That's-
super sweet,
That's
like
what.
cake
That's the
donut.
same thing.
It's
They
a
use
very
sour cream
dense.
as like an adjunct.
It's a very dense cake, basically. It's
They're-
it's
the
a very
donuts are
dense
sweet
and
enough.
moist cake.
I don't want
Is
to
sour
die.
cream like a tertiary adjunct or like a primary adjunct?
Unimatrix
It's-
Zero, yeah.
Sour cream donuts are amazing.
They send you to Unimatrix Zero when you
You've
bite
probably had one. You just didn't know what it was called.
Exactly. I've seen them called different things other than sour cream donuts, but
Sometimes they
I
call
mean,
them.
is it a problem
old-fashioned.
if I just don't like
Yeah,
sour cream in
old-fashioned, yeah.
general?
It doesn't taste anything like sour cream at all.
Okay.
You
No,
wouldn't
you
know
couldn't-
if
you
I
can't
gave you a
tell.
donut.
Exactly.
You wouldn't know that they used sour cream
Then why
to
is
make
it
it.
even
I'll send
called
you
sour cream
Yeah.
donut?
because it's used in the recipe.
Ah,
thing
I
on
will
it-
make you some egg cake.
Have you?
I think when people hear it, they think of like a sour cream like filling,
Like
like it's
filled,
just raw sour cream in there, and that's not what it's like.
I mean, that's not an unreasonable conclusion. That's what most
I think the
foods
name
are
in
called,
itself
named
is an
after,
advertising
like
problem.
their ingredients.
Yeah. No, you're right, Argos. I agree.
So I've got like a little thing on my box that says "Win a movie rental with your unique code," and I'm like, who rents movies now? Like what?
So, what movie are you going to rent? It's free.
Well, I need to register and put my unique code in, so I might not actually get it. So what's the point? If it was like free movie rental, then maybe I'd do it. But I'm not
You
going to
could
compete
watch
to win it.
like Star Trek Insurrection for free.
I like that movie, just so you know.
So do I.
But,
It's a good movie.
but I've seen it like 5 times.
That was the worst.
You
movie.
could see it 6 times. How is Voyager even close to losing against this thing? It's like a shuttle.
I don't think it's because they're doing the classic. Oh, don't shoot, and let themselves get hit like 20
Use
times.
gun on shuttle.
Casually like destroy a Borg cube and be like, no, the shuttle is too weak. Oh. Is it going to be the? Oh. Wait, what? What is going on here?
It's a prison break. They got a gun. Computer transport them to the brig? What's the problem here?
I'll just be like, computer, dematerialize their bodies outside the ship. This isn't Starfleet's
Oh,
problem
did they just say
anymore.
the transporter's offline?
Yeah.
Of
Why
course,
are the
yeah.
compression phasers shooting blue beams in this episode?
Because the writers
being
aren't
held by-
total nerds, that's why.
Why? Look, it's a blue beam.
Well, maybe they just modified what part of the visible spectrum it exists in.
They adjusted the frequency of the phaser to bypass the shirt. It's a trap. Don't do it.
Does he put it onto stun before he?
He's not going to stun him. He's going to stun the prisoners.
No, I think the other guy put it on kill.
That's fine. We can kill Muniz.
Oh wait, no. I think he does something else. He lets him do the killing.
He does love killing. It's his whole character. He just wants to kill.
Like, he's not a killer. It's just.
Anymore.
And look, the family forgave him.
Nope. No, they didn't.
Okay.
They agreed to
Oh.
listen.
No, don't say it like that. Say they fixed my brain.
Here's the charts. Look at this medical diagram. My pineal gland.
My conscience works now.
I think it's more like, sociopathy and psychopathy, they're pretty much untreatable. So imagine one day we could actually cure a sociopath. Should we rehabilitate them?
That's the question I asked at the beginning, whether or not they want it. Yes.
Yeah, but that's complicated.
I don't think I'm strong enough to. If like someone like murdered a member of my family, I'd be like, yes, kill them.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. If it's somebody of course you'd never forgive them, and you want that
Yeah.
murderer dead, like dead tomorrow.
I mean,
That's why the
Not
justice
everyone
system
reacts
is
that
there
way,
to
but
try and be
yeah.
impartial. Because if you just let someone like make that decision that's recently lost a family member, of course they're going to be like, use gun
Yeah.
on criminal.
Use noose.
Oh, I was very confused for a second. I was like, what is that music coming from the show? Why is there like happy, upbeat music? There's an ice cream truck outside.
Are you going to get
that
an
would
ice
have been
cream?
a strong choice for this scene.
No.
Are you going to get
It
some
is
candy
wildly
pills?
incongruent with what's happening on screen. And no, I'm not going to go outside to get an ice cream. I have obligations. I have to watch the rest of this Star Trek episode.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because it involves going outside.
It also involves going outside. Maybe I can like order DoorDash from across the
Just-
street to my door.
Just shout to the ice cream van. Give him an extra $5 if he brings the stuff to the door.
Yeah, I'm next to a window. He could bring it by right to this window.
Offer to let them use your bathroom because they don't have
What?
bathrooms.
That's not part of the transaction.
I feel bad
I'll
for any
let
job
you-
that doesn't have a bathroom.
I'll trade him
because-
use of the bathroom for the ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know what's inside that person, or what's going to come out of them when they go in the bathroom.
I've got a pretty good idea.
This is
Yeah,
a really
it could
touching
be a-
episode, but it doesn't end with a good ending. But
Oh, is he going to get executed?
Oh yeah.
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 There's no. This is the justice system. So something else.
The
is really
revenge
funny
system.
about the justice system is that they don't like to like undo their convictions, even when they have proof positive that it's not the person who did the crime. They're just like, yeah, well, we went through the process of finding them guilty.
Yeah, they want to
So-
keep the precedent set as it is.
Right. And if you undo the process, then that kind of messes with their thinking. Didn't he put a knife to her throat when he first met her?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, "Whatevs."
Hug? No hug? I think the dude could use a hug.
My brother had me writing letters to transgender prisoners in jail, and it was nice. I thought I could just be a little flirty with them, but I got the most.
Dude, what is...
I got
What
the
is-
most. I got the most intense sexual replies that I couldn't bother
What?
replying anymore.
Why?
Who are you?
What?
E-review.
Oh,
Ear
I knew
review.
that was going to
Look,
be bad as soon as that
you know-
tangent started.
You know, people say that I can't read the room, but even I know when that's not appropriate.
But if I didn't have the job that I have now, I would love to be a prison
Anyway,
chaplain.
let's go and execute the man. Kill him.
I'd love to be a prison chaplain because I want to minister to people, give them spiritual advice. You know,
And Janeway's journey down the dark path will be complete.
Janeway should use the same trick that Archer used when those religious zealots took over the NX-01, and just be like, "Oh yeah, we also use it to transport her for executions. It's humane," and just transport him somewhere else on the ship.
Good
yeah,
idea.
I don't think they're going
They
to fall
could
for that
also-
in this century.
They could also do that thing from Code of Honor. You guys know that episode. Where they,
he was dead, but then they revive him, but he died, so it's
She
death
died.
fulfilled.
They kill the lady that challenged Tasha for the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just bring her back. It's like, no, she died. We
what?
fulfilled your system. It's done.
Code of Honor. Did you not see Code of Honor?
He said Tash, so I'm going to assume that's right at the
Tasha.
start of TNG.
Tasha.
First season.
Code of Honor is the
It's-
racist one.
Is that the one where
Well,
they do like
yeah.
the TOS style battle thing? Is
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have the spiked poison
I usually
gauntlet.
skip that episode because it's trash.
Yeah, all
How
that
do you know if
bad
you've never watched
trash
it?
too.
I don't like look down on it. It's just like not a good episode. It's just meh.
Yeah.
Well, I look down on it. Okay, so next week is just 2 episodes because I need to sort of fudge things to fit everything. Next week is Prophecy and the Void. Prophecy is that the one where the Klingon? What is that episode?
Is
What's
that the one where
Prophecy?
they find the ship and it's had the
They
Klingons
think
on it?
the baby of B'Elanna is like the Messiah child.
But I was thinking, yeah, I guess that has to be now because the baby doesn't get born until the very end of the series. So they just worship a fetus.
Yeah,
That's like 2 weeks along.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And then The Void is a really good episode. It's an episode where they go full Federation and just they just make friends.
Oh,
and
they
there's a
start
triangle ship.
Federation.
They build it. They basically make a mini federation like in a void.
And yeah, we're going to get a triangle ship and it'll be great. So yeah, 2 episodes next week. And then critically, June 15th, Thursday of the week after this week, is Strange New Worlds Season 2.
Premiere.
Yep.
Oh.
Do you like your new apartment, Ryan?
It's fine. It's adequate.
It's an apartment?
It's satisfactory. What is it the drones say in that one episode?
In my new home, there is now an ice cream truck that drives by.
That's a bonus.
My previous home did not have an ice cream route.
Ice cream is irrelevant.
It sounds like that's been an objective upgrade then.
So what's your opinion of the snow cone?
I haven't had a snow cone in like 15 years.
Well, I would really like to have a snow cone, but the first house at the end of my street, they buy the entire case of snow cones whenever ice cream truck comes, so I can't get a snow cone.
Wait,
Just-
ice cream trucks have snow cones?
You need to intercept
Yeah.
the truck the block before.
That's what I was thinking. I
happens.
should catch him before he turns on the street, and then I should buy a whole case, and I should walk down the street
Gosh.
eating them one by one, or
See,
just
I'm like
crushing them on the
intolerant.
pavement.
I've been ignoring the ice cream truck that drives by this entire time because I thought there was nothing I can have. Well, I'm gonna go get some snow cones now.
Have a
Well,
great day.
I'll let you know a little secret. Most ice cream on ice cream trucks have very little dairy in them to begin with.
Nice seeing you again, Jasmine.
Nice seeing you all too. I'll see you all
All
next
right,
time.
this stream is over. We're done.
Bye.
Everybody be gone. The weak shall perish.
The weak
Hey.
shall perish.